Well, good day and welcome into yet another edition of the Commissioner's Chat. I am Ramanda Noble Watson, the Director of Communications and Public Relations with the South Carolina High School League. And as you can see, we are welcoming back Commissioner Singleton back into the fold of today's Commissioner's Chat. Welcome on back, Commissioner.
Well, thank you. I was looking forward to this opportunity.
We gave you a little break when we brought in Dr. Rodan, but I cannot be remiss then to bring you back in here so we can discuss some happenings of the South Carolina High School League. And mainly, we're going to talk about today the outcomes of last week's executive committee meeting. Right?
Great. Yes,
All
ma'am.
right. So, first things first. I know a lot of people want to know. I had a few phone calls come in. When are they going to make the decision? Executive committee meeting on the venues for the 24-25 championship. So can you talk a little bit about what the committee decided on and where are we going to play football? Where are we going to play basketball? Are we splitting back up? We staying with the semifinals, Final Four, or we're going, and as well as it's something new on the horizon with individual wrestling. Let's talk about those things.
Sure. Which one would you like to approach first?
We're gonna start. I'm gonna work backwards. So let's talk about individual wrestling. Tell the viewers about what's the new thing with individual wrestling.
Well, the individual wrestling has always been held in Anderson at the Anderson Civic Center.
Okay.
Well, this time it's been changed. Now it's going to be held at the Florence Civic Center in Florence. The Anderson Civic Center has served us so well.
Right.
But the growth in wrestling, especially with our athletes that are participating, has gotten big, and the venue just can't hold it to the point that we need. I mean, it blocked, obstructed the view and everything involved. So moving it to the Florence Civic Center is a bigger venue. Have more opportunities for spectators to be able to see it, for the athletes to be able to warm up.
Okay.
And then with the other part, that they want to increase the number of athletes that are in the qualifiers for the individuals. I think they're going from a number of 8 to 16, but we need a bigger space. So it's going to serve us well at Anderson Civic Center. I can't say anything but great things about them.
Right.
The Florence Civic Center helps us to have a bigger venue with more space available.
So the individual wrestling just pretty much outgrew this Anderson Civic Center, so to speak. Especially, I think with the advent of adding girls last year. This was the second year that we had girls individuals. So I'm thinking that may have added to the amount of people that is coming to spectate.
You're so right. I mean, with the additional of the girls division or bracket for the individuals, that increased the number of athletes that we had there, and then of course going to 16 really makes the number bigger. So a bigger venue would be appropriate.
Okay, so if you remember last year, we went to a new format for boys and girls basketball for the semifinals as well as the finals, and it was at Florence Civic Center. So what was decided on at the Florence Center? I'm sorry, what was decided on about basketball?
Well, again, basketball is one of our bigger sports where we play multiple games at the same site. We struggled for a few years trying to find 3 separate sites for our semifinals and our finals. To have our semifinals in the upper state at one site, our semifinals in the lower state at a different site, and then trying to find another site for the finals. Well, colleges were our go-to, but now that colleges have opportunity for playoffs, those venues are not readily available, and they can't secure it and assure us that we will have that venue when that time comes. So we have to find venues outside of that. We've got to find large venues that also we can schedule a date that we can count on it being there. So we would look at venues such as North Charleston Coliseum, Bon Secours in Greenville, Florence Civic Center being another one. We checked all of those out. We even checked out the University of South Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Given the format that we want to use, the best one that was available for us was the Florence Civic Center. So that being the case, we have to find a way to make it work. So we will take our lower state and our upper state and play it all at the same venue. We'll just call it our state semifinals.
Right.
We won't call it upper state, lower state. It's our state semifinals. We play those all at the same venue, and we'll play the finals there because the schools are already familiar with what in the environment that they played in. Playing the same gym twice in the 2 most important games that you can play in the basketball season. Your Final Four, for lack of a better term. Those games are going to be all at the same site. So we're excited about it. We're going to look at doing things a little bit differently. Hopefully, where we will infuse a little bit more community service or working with each other as a team prior to competing against each other. We're reaching out to figure all those things out. That hadn't been finalized yet.
Okay.
More to come. If it does come through, I'm excited. I'll be glad to share a whole lot with you about that.
Well, I'm excited. I enjoyed being at the Florence Center for the entire time. It made it easier for the spectators to know where they're going. So if your team advanced to the finals, there wasn't no question about, hey, I know you have the directions to get there, you know how long it takes to get there, so that made it easier for me as well as I'm sure some of the spectators. So now we know individual wrestling will be at Florence Center as well as the semifinals and finals for basketball will be at Florence Center. So that takes us to the fall. And where will the football championships be? What did they vote on?
Again, this past year, we've held it at South Carolina State University.
Mm-hmm.
Great venue. It really provides the parking that we need, the seating that we need, and it just works well for us. We had 3 groups to ask about it, and one was Benedict College, another was William Bright Stadium for the University of South Carolina, and then of course South Carolina State. What worked out best for the membership, financially and logistically, was South Carolina State. They've done it before. They get to do it again. They're looking at doing things just a little bit differently to improve on what they're doing, making it more of an experience than just a game. So we're excited about that. So it'll be back then, again, in Orangeburg one more time to see how it works.
All right, so they're looking to possibly, I guess, get a little bit more community involvement and try to give it a little bit more educational from the standpoint of learning about the city of Orangeburg, which is historic in itself, but some of the other things that could be. So we will know a little more about that as the summer goes on and as we get into the fall, and we would definitely keep you all posted on anything that we add to any of these championships as it relates outside of just the games and the excuse me, and the events for the championships.
That's correct.
So now the $1 million question. So I know that during the meeting, Class 5A was mentioned, but nothing was decided on at the executive committee meeting. So this week, the executive committee had a special called meeting to talk about Class 5A, the questions, are they going to split? Are they going to stay the same? So what came out of the special call meeting this week as to how is Class 5A going to look?
Thank you for asking. This has been a historical year for us. This is the one year we've had our largest number of schools in our largest class.
Wow.
Over the history, that's normally been in our smallest class. So we've got it in our largest class at this time. But, well, with that, part of the thought process is that because we have so many schools in our largest class, that we'll break it into 2 divisions. And that was presented by the 5A classification. They were requesting to have that for playoff purposes, that they play that in 2 separate divisions. Now the breakdown to what all that's going to mean and how you go about qualifying, that's still a work in progress. They have a blueprint, but there's some other areas that we've got to look at and make sure that it fits logistically and we can make it work out. So without that, I don't want to be premature and say a whole lot about how the playoff works until we can get all the logistics worked out.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. I know that, yes, we do have the 2 divisions, but no, we don't have how it's going to be determined, what's going to be broken down. Again, this summer, all those logistics will be ironed out, and by the fall, you would, before the fall, I'll say, you would know how, we should know, because we'll be starting competition in the fall. So I'm sure that those breakdowns and things will come about. Exactly if it's going to be called Division 1, Division 2, Region 1, Region 2, we don't know that. But we will, that will be worked out and ironed out, and we will alert you all when that happens.
Yeah, the staff is working diligently and hard to make sure all those things are in place, especially those that are responsible for those sports in that classification. They really are trying to learn all the ins and outs of it so that we could make it as smooth a transition as we possibly can. As I said before, this has been a historical year in what we're doing. Next year is going to be the first time we've tried this new way with realignment. So we're going to see how it works. We're excited.
All right, realignment was something, and now you know. So to answer your question, yes, there will be 2 Class 5A divisions. How it's going to look, we don't know. We would definitely keep you posted. So, Commissioner, those were the things that I wanted to pull you in just to talk about. What else do you want to share with our viewers about the South Carolina High School League?
Sure. I appreciate you asking. This has been a more challenging year for our member schools, with all the things that are going on and outside influences trying to get involved with what the membership has in place. I would like to continue to encourage the membership to stay strong, stand behind what they believe in, look at their rules. If there are changes that need to be made, make those changes. If there's some things that we need to stand behind, let's stand behind them, because there's nothing more important than our student athletes and providing this one-time great experience for them as they come through high school. They only get to do this once. So let's be sure that as we do this, let's make sure that we keep them in mind on everything that we do. That's going to be very important. Again, this has been a historical year for us. I believe the best is yet to come, because I have all the confidence in the world that our member schools will do the things that's in the best interest of our student athletes.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing that. I agree 100%, and well said, by the way. So with that, I will say this. The opening of spring championship season starts this Saturday, April 27th at Irmo High School in Irmo, South Carolina, with the boys and girls lacrosse state finals. They will kick off on Saturday at 11 a.m. with Class 5A, and then at 3:30 p.m. with Class 4A. And we will conclude the spring championship season at the latter part of May. Be sure to check the SCHSL website as well as the social media platforms for all the updates that's taking place. We thank you for tuning in, Commissioner, and thank you for joining me once again for Commissioner's Chat, and I look forward to bringing this to you again. Again, I'm Ramanda Noble Watson, the Director of Communications and Public Relations. Stay tuned, because at the end of this, you will see all of our social media platforms so you can stay abreast. Thank you.